that was her only daughter. They were like twins, and just wake up one day and she's gone. And life happens, we die, but to die under these circumstances and not to be given answers is twice as hard to bear.
So you're back with Lauren.
What exactly happened to Lauren Smith Fields is the puzzle her family and their attorney, Darnell Crossland, are trying to solve nearly 2 months after Lauren was found dead in her Connecticut home. Bridgeport police have now announced they're investigating this as a criminal case, but at this point, Lauren's family feels there are still more questions than answers. The 23-year-old Norwalk Community College student and aspiring physical therapist was reported dead on December 12th after a 37-year-old man she met on Bumble called 911. Inside Edition Digital is not naming the man since he has not been named as a suspect. Officials say that man was the last person to see her alive. This police report says he told cops they'd been drinking tequila, and Lauren told him she started to feel sick before she went to the bathroom and threw up. The man says she returned, they kept eating, drinking, and watching a movie. The man says Lauren fell asleep on the couch and he carried her to her bed before telling police he fell asleep next to her. When he woke back up at 6:30, he claims she was unresponsive with blood running out of her nose, which is when he called 911. After taking the short statement, police did not consider him a suspect or person of interest in the case.
The police didn't do any investigation. They let the guy go without any questioning, and they took a slight statement from him. And in that statement, he said that they never had sex, that he slept with his clothes on. But yet still, 2 weeks after her death, we have to force them to collect a condom with semen in it, a thing of lubricant, a pill that was found on the counter, and a bloody bed sheet. We have to force the police to take it. And to this day, those items still have not been submitted to the state forensic laboratory.
Attorney Crossland says many people have reached out to his office claiming the man had some sort of personal relationship with the Bridgeport Police Department.
I have to say that we're looking to get the phone records of Detective Cronin, who was there at the scene at the same time. Because if his phone records show any call connections to this guy, then you know that we're working with a very corrupt space. Right? And so far that he's under investigation by Internal Affairs and he's just been suspended.
There is zero connection between any detectives and my client.
So, you look at the situation, and when you mention the fact that they might have been racially insensitive or disregarded this family because of their race, people say, well, maybe you're playing a race card. But you don't have to look too far to see Emmett Till or Central Park 5 and similar cases like that.
So to be clear, effective immediately, both Detective Llanos and Detective Cronin are suspended from duties and put on administrative leave.
Only after Lauren's case started attracting attention on social media did Bridgeport Mayor Joseph Ganim release this Facebook video, announcing 2 detectives, including the lead on Lauren's investigation, have been suspended pending an internal affairs investigation. The officer who was in charge of overseeing the cases retired last week. The medical examiner determined Lauren's cause of death was a mixture of the lethal drug fentanyl, prescription drugs, and alcohol, ruling it an accident. Crossland says he has already started the process to challenge the ME's findings.
How did you come up with accidental when there's a guy who this woman never met, she's not a drug user, and there's antihistamines in her body, which are typically used to make people sleepy, drowsy, and typically used in a date rape situation?
The day after the ME's ruling, Bridgeport police announced they'd switch the case to a criminal investigation.
And so why does it need the whole world to respond to this stuff is beyond me. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So we have to make them pay. Sometimes the only time to get justice is to make them pay, so that way they realize that the city's going to go bankrupt if this continues.
Crossland says they intend to sue the city of Bridgeport for $30 million in punitive damages. Taking on this case has come with another set of challenges.
Since we've started this case, we've gotten every single day emails in all capitals saying, you're nothing but you're playing the race card. And we've gotten phone calls that my receptionists are so afraid to even let me hear because they leave voice messages every single day.
In a statement, Bridgeport's acting police chief Rebecca Garcia says they will release a final comprehensive report at the end of their investigation. The DEA is also now investigating. Inside Edition Digital reached out to the Bridgeport Police Department, Mayor Ganem, the attorney who is now representing the Bumble date, and Bumble for comment, along with the police union in Bridgeport, Connecticut. No one has gotten back to us. On social media, Bumble said in a statement they are cooperating with the investigation. The Office of Internal Affairs is handling the personnel investigation. Bridgeport Police will not comment on it.
Amid this family's anguish are emotions of outrage and disgust at how the Bridgeport Police Department has investigated the mysterious death of 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields.
It was careless. It was no concern. There was no care for the family about how we felt, our grief, our pain, none of that.
The I-Team obtained this police report of the response to a 911 call from Lauren's apartment on the morning of December 12th from a white male identified as Matthew LaFountain. The investigator notes he was trembling and visibly shaken. LaFountain said they met on the dating site Bumble, began drinking shots of tequila, and Lauren became ill. That later they played some games, ate some food, and started to watch a movie. He says he carried her to her bedroom and laid her in her bed. He then laid down next to her and fell asleep. He woke up again at approximately 0630 hours, and she was laying on her right side. Blood was coming out of her right nostril onto the bed, and she was not breathing.
The whole day goes by. No police reach out to the family at all.
Her close-knit family says they went to the apartment the next day after frantically calling and texting Lauren and were referred to a Detective Cronin.
They didn't even contact us. They didn't let us know anything. It's like crazy. And I'm asking what's going on. He said she met some guy on Bumble. And I'm asking him about the guy. He was like, oh, he sounds like a really nice guy. He sounds like a really good guy. And he was like, I'll call you back, and just hung up in my face.
They say the detective promised to come by the apartment.
Never showed up.
The family says the relationship with police devolved from there. No contact from December 13th until December 29th. They returned to the apartment to clear out Lauren's belongings and claim a new detective came by to say he'd taken over the case from Detective Cronin.
The detective said he effed up, he messed up. He effed Cronin, he messed up. He didn't know what he was doing. He messed up the case.
The family says they provided evidence they'd collected to crime scene investigators who arrived for the first time that day, included a bloody sheet and a pill.
And 2 cups of drinks or whatever next to a bottle. They didn't take none of that. We seen a condom, we seen lube, other stuff in there. They didn't take none of this.
Sources close to the investigation tell the I-Team the Matthew LaFountain pictured in this social media photo, now removed, was the man at Lauren's apartment. A neighbor at his listed address in Milford confirmed LaFountain's identity, but we were unable to reach the 37-year-old who has not been accused of any wrongdoing. LaFountain's same image appeared under the name Matthew Thomas, now also taken down.
Anyone that genuinely cared and they were there, the last person there, and they know that nothing bad happened, you would at least even reach out to the family yourself. Listen, I know I'm sorry for your loss of your daughter or your sister.
The family's last contact with police was on January 4th at headquarters with their attorney.
What I believe is that the police failed to collect and preserve that environment from the first day.
The attorney has now filed a notice of claim to sue Bridgeport for negligence, claiming key evidence was not initially submitted to the state lab.
I feel like because he's a white guy and she's a black girl, it's just almost like they just thrown it under the rug.
That night she was silenced, so now we are her voice. Right. But we're here and we're fighting for her.
The Bridgeport Police Department did not respond to repeated messages we left about the case, but in previous statements, they've said the investigation is open and active and that detectives are waiting for a final report from the medical examiner on the cause and manner of death.
I do want to say that Lauren, before her passing, within the last couple of years, she became more spiritual with herself. I feel like that gives me some type of acceptance that her soul is okay, because here she was trying, but Lauren was never the one to take drugs. Absolutely not even marijuana, absolutely nothing like that. She never needed it. Honestly, the girl was just a ball of life. She was what people would say, high off life.
BNN.